In this video we are going to talk about the comprehensive guide to understanding body types and how it relates to wedding dress selection. So before starting this video, like this video and subscribe to Best for Bride YouTube channel for future updates. Do you get anxious just thinking about looking for a wedding dress? Even though buying a wedding dress can be thrilling, many ladies fear making the wrong decision for their big day. This error frequently has a high cost and cannot be corrected. Here's the good news, though. Such an error is avoidable. Shopping for a wedding dress doesn't have to be difficult if you know some basic dress selecting principles. And this is what we shall delve into in more depth. I'll start by outlining the precise, step-by-step process to determine your body type because this will be important while choosing your wedding dress. After that, based on your results, I'll assist you in choosing the greatest wedding dresses. Learn more by continuing to read. Finding your body type, a guide. Knowing your body type is one of the first and most crucial considerations to do when choosing any garment, not only wedding gowns. Yes, this is crucial because properly dressing is all about highlighting your greatest characteristics while concealing, or deflecting, attention from your less appealing ones. Numerous articles outlining various methods of determining your body type may be found online if you do a search. The majority of these use the breast, waist, and hip measurements. But compared to everyday clothing, wedding dresses are more tailored. You'll need to measure your shoulders one more time, then. Your exact body type will be determined using the Bayou equation, which can be applied to both the shoulder and bust dimensions. Once more, this is a result of the diversity among women. Thus, you might fall into two categories rather than simply one if you have shoulders that are exceptionally broad or narrow or a particularly large or tiny bust. In this situation, you should preferably look into dresses that work for both body shapes and find the ones that you like the best. Let's move on to the measurement process itself. How to measure yourself correctly to determine your body type. You will be standing straight while obtaining your measures. What you'll need for it is listed below. A notepad and an exact tape measure for the measurement. The calculator. Comfortable clothing that fits. A supportive hand, optional. Although you can take the measurements yourself, having someone else take them is usually more precise for the shoulder and bust measurements. Here are the steps for performing each measurement. It is preferable to have a friend measure your shoulders. Your shoulder measurement is the whole length of the tape around your body from one shoulder edge to the same location. Measure the circumference of your breast at its fullest point while holding the measuring tape taut but not too firmly. Find the area of your waist that is the thinnest. Normally, it will be located right above the belly button. Along with this point, wrap a tape measure around your body and record the measurement. Hips, the area right below the hip bone should be measured. Find the location of this point and the area's circumference. Using your measurements to determine your body type. Once you have all of your measurements, perform the following calculations using your calculator. Hips, shoulders, or the bust. Shoulders, bust, or waist. Shoulders, hips, or the bust. Hips/waist. Once you have these figures figured out, you may use them to determine which of the four standard body types corresponds to you. Triangle, inverted, or an apple. Straight or rectangular body shape. Triangle or a pear. Hourglass. These are based on Bradley Bayou's method from his book, The Science of Sexy, which describes it. Let's now look at linking the numbers you just calculated to the appropriate body type. Various bodily kinds and their distinguishing characteristics. You'll need the numbers you just measured and the ones you previously calculated to determine your body type. As follows. Shoulders. Bust. Waist. Hips. And the proportions of hips, shoulders, or the bust. Shoulders, bust, or waist. Shoulders, hips, or the bust. Hips/waist. triangle inverted or an apple. Shoulders or bust/hips will be larger than or equal to 1.05 if you are an inverted triangle. This implies that your hip measurement will be 5% smaller than your shoulder or bust measurement. Your shoulders or breast will be bigger than your hips, which is a defining feature. Banana or a rectangle. Pay close attention to the waist/shoulders or bust ratio. This ratio will be larger than or equal to 0.75 if you are a rectangle. If so, have a look at your hip and breast dimensions next. They ought to be within 5% of one another. Take the largest of your three sizes and multiply it by 0.95 to determine this. The last two measurements should then be multiplied. You are a rectangle if the outcome exceeds biggest measurement x 0.95. You are defined by the similarity of your bust, hips, and shoulders in size. Triangle or a pear. The ratio of your hips to shoulders or breast will be larger than or equal to 1.05 if you are a triangle. In other words, the measurement of your hips will be at least 5% larger than that of your shoulders or breast. Your hips are larger than your shoulders, which serves as a defining feature. The hourglass. If you are an hourglass, you need to satisfy three conditions. First, the ratio of the waist to hips should be 0.75 or less. Next, the waist to shoulder or bust ratio must be less than 0.75. Finally, there won't be a more than 5% difference between your shoulder and hip measurements. Your upper and lower portions are evenly proportioned, and your waistline is clearly defined. Visit this page on the Daily Fashion News if you want to learn more about these calculations and how they relate to the various body types, or if you want to assess them more thoroughly. Opulent bridal bonus package, including a wedding gown. We now know how to distinguish between each body type using various measurements and calculations. We also looked at each body type's distinguishing traits. Now let's examine the positive traits and negative traits of various body shapes. Different body types' positive and negative traits, what to emphasize and conceal. Have you ever thought that some dress styles suit you better than others before using this guide to determine your body type? This is true because every body type has both appealing and unflattering characteristics. Numerous characteristics that are beneficial to particular body types are highlighted by diverse garment styles. So let's get going. Inverted triangle or an apple. Your curves, thin legs, and complete bust are your best attributes. Narrow hips and a thick waist are less attractive characteristics. You should add definition to your midsection to give yourself a curvaceous appearance while selecting a wedding dress. Styles that flare out at the hips will balance your body's two parts while hiding its tight dimensions. Additionally, search for patterns that accentuate the lower half with volume and curves to tame the top half size. Banana or a rectangle. Best characteristics: a smaller bust. Lack of curves and an undelineated waistline are undesirable characteristics. The ideal silhouettes for this body type are those that provide the appearance of curves where none actually exist. You can accentuate the size of your hips and give yourself a curvy look by wearing skirts with extra texture or embellishments like ruffles and bows that add volume. Triangle or a pear. The best features are a small bust and a slim waist. Hips that are too big are less appealing. Keep the hip areas detailing modest, and add additional texture and volume to the top part to soften it. Flaring dresses will hide and draw attention away from the hips. They will also draw attention to your petite bust and upper torso. The hourglass. The waistline is clearly defined, and the upper and lower halves are balanced. The hourglass body shape is regarded as the best one due to its natural balance and curves. For your body type, fitted clothing styles that accentuate your natural curves are the best option. However, the hourglass body type can pull off any dress design with ease, and you will have more alternatives than anyone with any other body type. What do you think about this video? Do let us know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from us again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go.